Hey, this is VGGuy95, and I thought I want to actually make a video talking about basically my thoughts on the the end of the fall/winter 2012 season. And as you can tell from my profile page, that I have a my anime list, so I thought this would be a good time to actually talk about what I thought about all the animes that I watched. Now, keep in mind that, first of all, I didn't watch every anime during this entire season, so I missed like some of the big ones that some people liked, like Psycho-Pass. However, I did watch around 8. Yeah, it's 8. And this entire video is going to be unscripted, so I may have like a few moments where I can't really think of anything to say. But basically how it's going to work is that I'm just going to say the synopsis of the anime and then just talk about what I thought about the show. So let's begin with the first show being Chunibyo Demokoi ga Shitai. In English, that is translated to "Regardless of my adolescent delusions of grandeur, I want to date." Yeah, it's a weird name, but basically the synopsis is about this. Yuta Togashi suffers from Chunibyo, which is basically it's not really like a disease, it's just more basically this one period in most people's childhoods where they start thinking that they're greater than like basically adults, and then it may go to a larger strain of sequences such as them like thinking like they're like important, and it may go into like fantasy type scenarios. But basically, he suffered from Chunibyo while he was in middle school. However, he graduated middle school and he wants to put all that dark history behind him and want to forget about it. Or what he was supposed to. High school was smooth sailing and full of enjoyment until an unbelievable sad event occurs. The event that locks Yuta into a contract with Rika Takanashi, which is the other main character, and disrupts his desperately ordinary life. Basically, this is supposed to be the Kyoto Animation's big romantic comedy for this season. Just because ever since basically, this is based on my opinion, ever since Clannad, they haven't been able to really make like a really big anime recently. I mean, like the two shows that they worked on before, which was Hyoka and I'm trying to remember what was the other one. Oh yeah, Nichijou. Those were good, but they weren't like as good as Clannad was. So, in my opinion, this show is actually really good for the most part. I mean, like, it's really funny for one thing. And because of the animation style that they use for most of these Kyoto animation works, which is very high budget, it looks just phenomenal for the most part. And most of the characters, in my opinion, are actually really funny for the most part. Like, my favorites are definitely the interactions between Nibatani, which is the popular girl. Ooh, I'm not trying to spoil much, so and the interaction between her and Dekamori. Again, like I said, because I'm trying not to spoil much, I can't really say why though. But I'm saying, for the most part, you should watch the show. For like basically everyone should at least try to watch at least a few episodes in order to judge whether or not you would like it or not. Okay, so next anime is Little Busters. Now, this is actually kind of interesting for me to watch, only because I've read at least a large portion of the visual novel that's based on. And usually with these kind of works, they're usually made by Kyoto Animation, since because Kyoto Animation made Canon 2006, Air, and Clannad. I was kind of expecting them to make it, but instead it was made by JC staff of Warner Brothers, which is kind of surprising, but it doesn't. That shouldn't matter too much. So basically, Little Busters is about a high school student named Riki, whose parents are dead, and basically when he was a child, he joins with a group of kids called themselves the Little Busters. Now, basically years later, those group of friends, just because one of them is going to be graduating and the other ones are going to be probably, eventually separated soon, within probably about 2 years, they decided to create a baseball team. And the antics and whatnot go on from there. Now, in my opinion, this is actually a good adaptation of the visual novel. The only real problem with it is that, since because how the visual novel was actually made, it doesn't really make it to be a really good anime. Only because it's like, if you think of like a generic like a stereotypical visual novel. Well, I mean, Lobos isn't exactly that stereotypical, but usually there's like route splits. But what they try to do in this anime, because this is the best way that they could do it, is that they try to make it so that it's all one straight path. So therefore, there's none of the romance scenes. There's like certain things that are cut, and then there's certain scenes that, well, they are funny if you actually read the visual novel. For most people, they seem kind of pointless. So I'd say give it a try, but it's definitely not one of the better animes in this season, in my opinion. Alright, now next one is Onii-chan Dakedo ai sai Areba Kankeinai yone. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I probably butchered it somewhere. Or just simply abbreviate to OniAi. So, okay, so let me just give this brief synopsis. Himeno Koji twins, the Akito and Akiko, so yeah, they're both twins, have finally reunited with each other after a separation due to the death of their parents. 6 years of living apart, they suddenly begin living under the same roof due to the Akito's desire to live as a family unit once more. Things are fine until Akiko began expressing her incestuous love for her older brother, who only sees her as a little sister. And basically, this is basically one of the harem anime of this season. And to be honest, at first, I thought this is actually a really bad show. Mostly because I didn't really find it funny at first. It was just lots of boobs, not really much substance at first. But eventually, it took a while, but around episode 7 or so, I didn't think it was really that bad. So, I'll just say that if you're into the harem ecchi genre, then go ahead and watch it. But for most people, unless you could actually tolerate that sort of thing, you probably shouldn't watch this. I mean, for me, no offense to the people that actually like the show, but the only real character that I enjoyed watching was Ginbei. Mostly because she was the innocent, short one of the group, and it was basically supposed to be Akito's best friend. So I thought their relationship was actually kind of realistic compared to the other ones, and I like that more. So yeah. So but all in all, it's still your opinion. So now next one, Robotic notes. So if any people that watch animes knows, there was this one show called Steins Gate, which is, if you don't know any about the visual novels, basically a company called, I believe, Nitro Plus created a group of science fiction visual novels. All of them having in common with the semicolon thing. I don't understand why. But basically, the three visual novels being Chaos Head, Steins Gate, and Robotic Notes. Chaos Head, just know, for example, I've never read any of the visual novels, but based on the animes, Chaos Head, I thought it had potential, but it wasn't really that great overall. Mostly because when it got to the swords thing, I just basically started to think that it's pretty stupid. Steins Gate, it took a while for it to get good, but once it got good, it got better and amazing eventually, and it became one of my favorite animes of all time. Robotic Notes, let me just give the synopsis. It's supposed to take place 7 years after Steins Gate, but it kind of almost has no relation to it, because the art style is completely different. The characters, for the most part, are completely different. There's maybe one or two real cameos, but that's basically it. It takes place in, if you know about Steins Gate, it takes place in the divergence ratio 1.048596. It takes place in the near future, where a device called the Pokecom, totally nothing to do with Pokemon, packaged with the Folindroid OS, Original. Spreads, bringing the augmented reality world close to existence. Chuonibyou High School, again I butchered it. Robot Research Club is in danger of losing its club status. And Kaito Yashio, who is one of the members, only obsessed with robot fighting games, which in the show they call it Kill Ballad, showing no interest in the robot club even in the situation. The reckless, useless club head, Akio Senomiya, aims to create a giant robot, struggling hard to avoid losing the club status. Excuse me. Then one day, Kaito discovers the AR annotation that becomes the Kimishima report. Written in that report is the indictment of someone named Kishima conspiracy involving the world. So basically, there's really two plots that go around this entire story. There's one, the main one, being that their robot club, which basically their whole purpose is that they're trying to build a giant robot based on an anime in the anime called Ganvero. Yeah, hopefully I'm saying that right. And basically they need to recruit members in order so they can build the robot of their dreams. And the second part of the show is that basically Kaito, the main character, is trying to figure out this conspiracy made by NASA, which in this show is apparently evil, from this one, I believe it's about a solar flare that is going to basically destroy the world or make some sort of apocalypse. Well, again, I'm trying not to spoil much to this, but this stuff happens pretty early in the show. So, and in my opinion, this show hasn't really showed really much yet, even with the 12 episodes that they've shown. I probably should explain, like, basically, for example, with the Chunibyo, it was 12 episodes. Little Busters is going to be, I believe, 24 episodes, but let me just check. Yeah, I'll check later. I'll probably put it in some sort of annotation. The OniAi finished with 12 episodes. This is going to finish with the odd number of 22 episodes. I don't know why, but basically, this show has, in my opinion, has a lot of potential, but so far it's been kind of slow for the most part, mostly because of the building the robot thing. However, I will say that the characters I pretty enjoy for the most part. Like, for example, especially Akio, because she has basically the upbeat, cheerful personality of the group, which I'm pretty sure for most people would like. I mean, it's not even like annoying cheerful. It's pretty good for the most part. And then, like, my other favorite, probably my favorite character actually of the group is Furuguri, just Frau. Okay, that's a better nickname. Okay, because basically she's the weird, creepy otaku person, and I love that shit. Especially when I was watching Welcome to the NHK, which I know this is going completely off related, but basically, like, Sato was my favorite character because of all that weird, creepy stuff that he does. But yeah, basically, I would say that for Robotic, give it a watch. I don't think it deserves the low rating that it's getting for the moment, mostly because people are comparing it to Steins Gate, which they're not related whatsoever. So I don't think you should really compare it to Steins Gate. I mean, for my anime list, 7.6 is pretty low. I think so. It should deserve at least like a 7.9 at least. So, but ranting aside, that's my opinion on Robotic Notes. Alright, next show, Sakurasou no Pet na Kanojo. In English, The Pet Girl Sakurasou. The synopsis is the school romantic comedy revolves around a second-year high school student named Sarata Kanda, who lives in Sakurasou, the dormitory for the problem children in Sarata's hot school. Which, if they explained early on that this is supposed to be an art school. So, and one day, Mashiro Shina, a cute girl who happens to also be a cosmopolitan, brilliant artist, moves to Sakurasou. Sarata thinks to himself that he should protect Mashiro from the weirdos at Sakurasou, but Mashiro has a surprising secret. She has no idea how to take care of herself. She gets lost if she goes out, and her room is a complete mess. Sorata's dorm mates designate him as the master of Mashiro, And it's not supposed to be kinky in any sort of way. Just telling you, it's literally what it means. And thus, an ordinary boy and a brilliant girl must live like a master and his pet. So this is going to be the next romantic comedy that I'm reviewing for this video. And my God, this show, it took me by surprise. I think it was going to be decent, but I didn't think it was going to be this good. In my opinion, this is actually the best show of this season. Mostly because the characters, in my opinion, are so enjoyable to watch. Especially the, my favorite two main characters are Misaki, which is the overly energetic girl who's, I think she does, animation. And Oyama, which is the actress of the group and the semi-tsundere, but it's not like annoying tsundere, so therefore I like that type of stuff. I can't spoil too much because, like I stated before, but even though this is a romantic comedy, there are some serious moments into the show which I really enjoy from something like this. So I'd say for people especially for people that like romantic comedies, give this one a watch. Because so far, it's definitely going to be one of the best for at least this year, in my opinion. Alright, next one, which was the big one of last season, also with all the controversy around it. That being Sword Art Online, or SAO. In the near future, a virtual reality massive multiplayer online role-playing game, MMORPG, that's a tongueful, called Sword Art Online has been released, where players control their avatars with their bodies using a technology called Nerve Gear. It's basically the Virtual Boy, except it's better. Basically sounds like one day players discover that they cannot log out, as the game creators holding them captives. Unless they reach the 100th floor of the game's tower and defeat the final boss. However, if they die in real life. Fun times. The struggle for survival starts now. So basically, this is basically the action, sci-fi / fantasy game. Well, the anime, and a lot of people have compared this actually to Dot Hack, and I can kind of understand that. That's because of like the virtual reality stuff, but okay. I have a lot to say about the show, but without spoiling anything, I will say that it is a good show for its best, but I don't think it's that good for a couple of reasons. Most of them I can't really explain though because of spoilers, but I'll just give you one of them being that, in my opinion, because this one starts at the very beginning, what they explain is that there's a lot of contradictions towards the beginning of the series and the middle of the series, and also even at the end of the series. One example is that at the very beginning they explain that they shouldn't feel pain in the game, because they explain, for example, that one of the supporting characters, Klein, got hit in the balls, and he didn't feel it because of the game's mechanic system. However, later on, you can kind of tell that they were in pain. Also, without spoiling again, this kind of show basically splits into two separate halves. You'll figure it out basically when that happens. And the first half, I thought it was actually pretty good for the most part. On the My Anime list, I gave it basically a 9 out of 10. But if I were to grade the second half, I would probably give it a 4. Only because it just feels like it's so underwhelming. Even how the story was set up, it seems like it's not really as creative as the first one. They even changed the character perspectives, which in my opinion they shouldn't have done at all. The world that they go to. Well, again, I'm trying not to spoil as much as possible, but the world just doesn't seem as developed as in the first half. And everything feels rushed, which seems like to be the main problem. Now, I believe that the person that wrote the Sword Art Online, because Sword Art Online is a light novel, wrote also Excel World, and people thought Excel World was actually pretty good for the most part. I didn't really like it that much, in my opinion, but that's just me. Mostly because I just thought it was kind of cliche, even though it was. In certain aspects, it was creative. In certain aspects, I didn't think it was very creative at all. But Sword Art Online, I'd say give it a watch, but just be advised that there will be times where there are some inconsistencies. So yeah. Yeah, I can't really think of anything else at this point without trying to spoil anything. Hi, this is me back again. I just wanted to make another clarification of what I stated with the Sword Art Online impressions. Now, to be fair, when I did record this the first time, I didn't really put any good things really about it, and which makes it kind of sound like I hate the series, but I don't. I actually really enjoy the series a lot. Well, at least the first half, anyway. But like for example, the characters. I thought, for example, the main character Kirito was a really nice, pleasant thing to see. Only because, well, sure, he also has the usual good aspects of him. He's kind, he's fun. It's funny, but the thing about how he's funny, he's almost kind of like trollish, which I really enjoy about a character like that. Where the only way for me that a main character can be good is if they're funny, and Kirito definitely does that. Most of the other supporting cast also do their job quite nicely for the most part. How actually I think so that in the first half of the season that I didn't really hate any of the characters, which is really good for the most part. Also, another thing that's good about Sword Art Online is the music especially for the two openings that they used. I loved. For the most part, mostly because, for example, with the first one, Lisa made it, which if you watched Fate Zero and also Angel Beats, she also did music for, which I'm a fan of. So yeah, that's good. So yeah, I just wanted to make the clarification that I do not hate the series. I do like it. It's just that there are some problems with it. So yeah. On to the rest of my recording. So, and the last anime that technically I've completed at this moment is Tonari no Kaibutsu-kun, which is My Little Monster. Now, I just want to say before that I am watching one more show, but it's not exactly like regular show that's being aired. It's Seitokai no Ichizon Season 2. And the thing is, though, when the people were doing the fan subs, because that's how I watch these shows. Someone, I think so, started episode 5, took took a break during that, so I didn't get to watch all of them. But now they're up, so I may do a follow-up video or whatnot about that. But basically, with that show, just basically is season 2 of the show made by Studio Dean called Seitokai no Ichizon. And it just follows a bunch of antics of a student council with a lot of kind of funny and some not so funny references. But I might be in season 2. It's actually pretty good so far, especially the same thing with season 1, where the first episode is amazing. So I'd say at least watch the first episode for that show if you watch season 1. But anyway, back to My Little Monster. So this is probably one of the few shoujo animes that I watch. I believe this is based off a manga. Yeah, based off a manga. And usually I don't watch this kind of thing because, I'm a dude, so this is going to be a little awkward for me to watch. But I thought it was overall pretty good. So I should probably start with the synopsis. Mizutami Shizuku is the type of person who cares about her own grades. Kind of like me. But when she accidentally delivers lesson notes to Yoshida Haru, he becomes convinced that they are friends. Haru turns out to be a very innocent personality. Who would have thought that Haru would actually confess to Shizuku, a cold-hearted girl in a super troublemaker romance with a fresh new perspective. And fresh new perspective, yes it is. Because I thought it was actually really enjoyable for the most part. Even though, like I said, shouldn't exactly be my thing. But like the relationships, in my opinion, even though it's like weird, there are certain weird things that happen in the show. Like for example, it's not really spoilers because it happens pretty early, with Haru having a pet chicken out of all things. But like the actual relationships and the love triangle aspect to it, it's actually pretty realistic for the most part. Even though it seems like all like males are kind of horn dogs, but you know that's kind of like us in real life. So I guess that's accurate. And the comedy, in my opinion, is actually pretty funny for the most part. I mean, it's not going to be like, in my opinion, the best show of this year, but it's good enough in order to be very enjoyable. So if you like shoujo, watch the show. It's pretty short. I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy it. And even if you're not really into the shoujo thing, I'd say at least just give maybe a 1 or 2 episodes a try in order to see whether or not you like it. And so those are my thoughts of the fall 2012 season. So leave your thoughts below in the comments, and I will see you at winter 2013. So see ya.